2,000 years ago, a young Jewish rabbi was ceremonially immersed in water by a local holy man to mark a new chapter in his life, a chapter that would change the face of this planet, its inhabitants, its governments, its philosophies, even theologies, forever. This most powerful chapter would also prove to be the final chapter of his life. It lasted only 3 years, but was preceded by an intriguing time of preparation. Compelled to camp alone in the desert for 40 days, Jesus of Nazareth gave up food and drink in order to face 3 potent temptations that could derail his upcoming ministry. The results of this courageous period of personal discipline and preparation are subject to vast works of literature, art, and controversy. This 40-day journey in the wilderness may be the most effective period of preparation for greatness that this world has ever seen. That is why 1 out of every 4 people on earth choose to imitate, in some form, this practice of preparation themselves for how God may want to use their lives in the near future. This practice is called Lent. Before the church began celebrating Easter, and even before it ever celebrated Christmas, the early church observed Lent. Originating in the 4th century, the journey of Lent spans 40 days, beginning on Ash Wednesday. Ash Wednesday, the 7th Wednesday before Easter, is the first day of Lent. Its name comes from the ancient practice of placing ashes on worshippers' hands or foreheads as a sign of humility before God, realizing that we were formed from the dust of the ground, therefore our lives here are only temporary at best. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We need God's help in order to live on this planet. That's where the role of fasting comes in. Jesus gave up eating in order to eliminate distraction and clear out mental and spiritual debris for a more intentional pursuit of God. The early church gave up meat, a perceived luxury. Mardi Gras, or Fat Tuesday, is the night before Lent begins on Ash Wednesday. Sometimes called Carnival, which means leaving meat, this banquet was for the purpose of enjoying the item being fasted from during Lent for one last time. Luxuries that compete for our dependence and attention are given up by adults and children during Lent. They include things like watching television, eating meat, refraining from tobacco or alcohol, listening to the radio, soda, candy, coffee, and other similar items. During Wednesdays of Lent, there's an increased focus and dependence on prayer. Because of this, we will be opening up our auditorium for a 1-hour house of prayer beginning at 7:15 p.m. each Wednesday during Lent. At these gatherings, we will pray for people in our church, our financial needs, and give you an opportunity to be prayed for personally, led by our elders. Each Sunday of Lent will follow the 6 ancient Lenten modes of preparation for baptism, meaningful service, and outreach. They are: Week 1, to call; Week 2, to remember; Week 3, to look; Week 4, to wait; Week 5, to judge; Week 6, to surrender. A message series entitled Facing Your Greatest Temptations will take place on Sunday mornings and will explore deeper the temptations Jesus faced and how he found the strength to overcome them during those 40 days in the wilderness prior to his ministry. Lent provides an opportunity for us to pause in our busyness and take stock of our lives through prayer and reflection. The word Lent means spring. Spring is the farming season of work and preparation for a future harvest. It was also the time of year in which Jesus' experience in the wilderness took place. For us, it is a time for new beginnings, by looking inward for them first instead of outward. This is why the journey of Lent culminates in a baptism celebration. Being there to share in this personal and powerful act of surrender will not only touch those in the water, but touch you as well. as you see the first results of Lent revealed, before your journey outward to others begins. Many of you may find yourself in the water that day, helping to baptize friends, or even being baptized yourself in the same manner Jesus was. Experiencing Lent may make this year's celebration of Easter, the day Jesus rose from the dead, the most memorable and meaningful Easter of all. Join 1.5 billion people worldwide in imitation of the most prolific life that ever graced this planet, Jesus Christ's. What could be made possible in our world today if we prepared for a life of service the way Jesus of Nazareth did? May his example pave the way for you to experience strength for your journey, a strength that prepares you for what lies ahead, a strength that can help you become an authentic, devoted follower of Jesus through this inward journey called Lent.